Let's talk about
Politics.
what is politics.
Politics is the art or science of government or governing, especially the governing of a political entity, such as a nation, and the administration and control of its internal and external affairs. Art or
Science? What makes politics an art? And
what makes politics a science? It is said, power of performing action specially acquired by experience, study, and observation is a art.
it is also said, art is a selective recreation of reality according to a person's metaphysical value judgment.
Thus,
It makes political art the power to perform selective recreation of reality inspired by experience, study, and observation, which stylizes man's consciousness to suit a person's objectives.
Nakaligo ka na ba sa dagat ng basura? Nagpasko ka na ba sa gitna ng kalsada? Yan ang tanong namin. Tuloy ka ba ang isa sa amin? Nalaman mo na ba mapapag-aral ka niya? Tutulungan tayo para magkatrabaho at ang kanyang plano'y magkabay tayo. Si Miller ang tunay na mahirap. Si Miller ang tunay na may malasakit. Si Miller ang may kakayahan at gumawa ng sariling pangalan. Si Manny Villar ang magtatapos ng ating kahirapan.
then, what is science?
Science is primarily a system of logic, and it is a set of rules and methods for investigating reality logically and systematically. Therefore,
Then, it makes political science a science to the extent that it observes cardinal rule of scientific logic, and it is the academic discipline that studies political phenomena. In the strictest sense, is the study of state, its institutions, law, and processes.
among the two, who dominates the political scheme? Let us see who wins the heart of people. He won because of affinity. Affinity means visibility, and visibility means consciousness of the electors. With the help of mass media, that creates exposure. And people vote according to what they often see, hear, what entertains them, and the one that catches their emotions.
Ang sagot sa akin, wala. Libre kami ng uniform, libre kami ng notebook, mga gamit sa school.
Natamo ko yung dekalidad na edukasyon na kayang maibigay kahit sa pampublikong paaralan.
Sana po ako ngayong civil engineer. Kaya malaking pasasalamat ko po kay PPB na talaga.
Dahil kapag ang buhay nila ay guminhawa, giginhawa din ang buong bansa.
Now, let's talk about
State and nation. State is a community of persons more or less numerous. Occupying a definite territory possessed with an organized government and enjoying independence from external control.
Now, let us proceed to
What is governance? Governance is the exercise of political, economic, and administrative authority in the management of country's affairs at all levels. Another meaning is the regularized management of the political, socio-cultural, economics, technological, demographics, ecological, and institutional needs and interests of all social forces to ensure balance and fairness in the realization of certain ends. Best practice in governance. In the age of globalization and digitalized relations, the mode to doing the right things require paradigm shift and paradigm development in both crucial states of thinking and acting. Think new, act new, think global, act local, in a period characterized by new but complex dynamics of developments and trends. Here are some examples of people who practiced good governance. Naga City Mayor Jess Robredo, the local leader who transformed Naga City into a global model for metropolitan development, the multi-awarded local chief executive in good governance, has this to say: effective governance is a mindset. It is a desire. It is an attitude of leaders to be the best that they can be in the delivery of public services. It is about becoming excellent in meeting public expectations. Josefina M. de la Cruz, the internationally acclaimed and recognized outstanding governor of the province of Bulacan, defines governance as nothing more than the use of political power to be effective, efficient, and responsive to the needs of the people. She believes that governance is that which establishes, maintains, and deepens the government way of relating with its constituents such that the constituents are satisfied. Being responsive has two sides, the how and the what sides. The what sides that government officials must first know what to be responsive about. The how side means actions must be taken. Bayani Fernando, the quintessential three-term multi-awarded mayor of the city of Marikina and now the chairman of the Metro Manila Development Authority, said that for the governance to take root, the presence of strong, stern, strict, dedicated leadership is needed. According to him, a governance without conviction cannot possibly govern, cannot have a mind of its own, and thus can easily be pressured. He underscores the need for a strong sense of political will to go over and above the transformation and reform agenda.
mind-setting governance with the best squared formula. Think big and beautiful. Speak excellence and extraordinary. Act sense and service. Be time-conscious, and team-inspired.
Social forces of governance. Government. Government creates a conducive political and legal environment. Business. Business generates jobs, opportunities, and income. Civil society. Civil society facilitates political and social interaction. Citizen consumers. Citizen consumers demand quality and excellent products and services. Relationship in governance. This relationship is ruled by the condition and tendencies of the economy, government, technology, civilization, ecology, culture, politics, and institution promoted by the state. Therefore, trends must be studied carefully so that it can be directed and fine-tuned so that individual, associational, and nation-state relations become productive and oriented towards achieving personal and societal goals. Prescription for good governance. Number 1. Transparency of government. Citizens must be kept informed of the decisions of the state and their justification. Number 2. Simplicity of procedures. Whether in fiscal matters, investment, or other areas, administrative procedures need to be simple as possible, with the number of participants reduced to a minimum. Responsibility. Public officials must be held accountable and, if necessary, penalized for offenses. Fight against corruption. Eradication of this menace is imperative for promoting healthy, eliminating sub-charges, and strengthening the efficiency of economic management. Individual freedom and collective expression. A free and responsible press in particular is an important pillar of democracy. Independence of legal system. The legal system must be free from pressure and intervention from political forces or any other organizations to ensure that its decisions are independent and impartial. 10 notes on good governance implementation. Number 1. Policy and institutional analysis must be combined because policy without institutions is difficult to implement, rarely successful, and never sustainable. Institutions without policies accomplish little, fail to adapt, and enter into decline and decay. Number 2. The statement that politicians formulate strategic policies while civil servants implement them is a gross oversimplification. A. The first reason is that politicians with great vision and strong leadership capacity are exceptions to the rule, not the rule. Those that have these characteristics in the right conditions and with a little luck can write history. B. The second reason is that politicians who do not pay attention to implementation run the risk of not seeing a policy implemented and for the result not being successful and of the impact not being those desired. Most politicians are working for the next two government anyway. Number 3. Bureaucracy is the basic organizational and operational principle of the industrial age, while the network is the basic principle of the knowledge age. Since we live in a period of transition between these two eras in human civilization, we will have to deal with the characteristics of both for some time to come. However, this also entails great opportunities. Number 4. At the macro level, One of the most effective ways to support good governance reform is to identify where good governance reform advocates and activities already exist, network them, and promote positive synergies between them. Number 5. At the micro level, mission-specific, time-bound, ad hoc working groups or task forces can bring together the best national talent available from all sectors for policy formulation and consultation, as well as for the monitoring and evaluation and implementation. Number 6. Bureaucratic organization and operations are sectoralized while networks are holistic. The opportunities and problems emerging in the globalized knowledge age tend to be intersectoral, requiring holistic attention. Attempts have been made to deal with these issues through intersectoral and interinstitutional coordinations committees and/or by the designation lead institutions. Number 7. Information is a basic raw material of governance in all institutional and organizational forms. However, its roles is different in bureaucratic form of organization and operations as compared to network organizations and operations. Number 8. The combination of democratic values, humane governance objectives, a network policy approach, and a customer service orientation requires citizen voice and participation in policy iterations. Number 9. Learning experiences is a term preferred to best practices because of the prescriptive nature of the latter term. This is for two reasons. First, there is a strong tendency to copy models rather than construct policies that take national reality as the point of departure and the point of arrival for the analysis and action. Second, what is the best practice in one context can be the worst practice in the other. Number 10. Governance in conflict situation requires a holistic approach. Protracted social conflict is a symptom of institutional breakdown that requires holistic treatment. Dealing with protracted social conflict requires a combination of system theory-based change management and chaos theory-based risk management. What is good governance? There are 6 imperatives that are relevant for the basic understanding of good governance. Number 1. Rule of law and predictability of the regulatory environment refers to the institutional process of setting, interpreting, and implementing laws and other regulations. Decisions are founded on well-defined rights and duties. There are effective mechanisms for law enforcement and dispute settlement to protect firms and individuals from arbitrary decisions. Number 2. Transparency and accountability refers to the existence of functioning mechanisms to make government rules, regulations, policies, and decision-making processes accessible and visible to the public. This entails recognizing and respecting the citizens' right to information. Number 3. Policy coherence is achieved when the political leadership is committed, decision-making is informed, and a well-defined strategic policy framework is in place. It also requires an administrative culture that promotes systematic dialogue. Number 4. Bureaucratic culture of honesty, integrity, and efficiency requires better systems, structures, and mechanisms that breed incorruptible political officials and civil servants, the promotion of ethical standards and practices, and value formation. Number 5. Organizational and technical capacity requires building an effective and efficient bureaucracy that can respond to the changing demands of the environment, promote equity, and provide the public excellent quality service. Reforms are necessary to ensure that government does not only have skilled and committed staff but also possesses the organizational capacity to make good use of its personnel. Number 6. Effective and functioning decentralization and devolution. The enactment of the Local Government Code has made an effective and functioning decentralization and devolution an imperative. The orientation towards devolution and decentralization should be deepened
within the bureaucracy. Despite many constraints, LGUs have been able to respond to many challenges brought about by the local government code. The national government should match the enthusiasm and commitment shown by the LGUs by reorienting their structures and systems to support their decentralization.